to Dr. Mensch, the radio show that takes a real, compassionate look at mental health from A to Z. Join child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Gil Lichtshein each week as we explore topics that matter: autism, ADHD, anxiety, depression, OCD, schizophrenia, behavioral challenges, neurodevelopmental disorders, and more. No stigma, no judgment. Just honest conversations, new therapies, breakthrough treatments, and real solutions for real people. Mental health is not a weakness. It's a treatable medical condition, and help is available. Join the conversation now by calling the studio at 888-994-4995, Studio A. This is Dr. Mensch, where hope and healing begin.
Good afternoon, everybody. This is Dr. Gil Lichtshein, aka Dr. Mensch. I'm a board-certified child, adolescent, and adult psychiatrist within my office in Boca Raton, Florida at 7100 West Camino Real, Suite 404. My phone number is 561-300-4052. It's a beautiful Monday, late afternoon here in sunny South and warm South Florida, although it's going to cool off significantly, and I guess we're going to feel it like about 60% of the country who's experienced some pretty nasty weather. Today, I'm honored to have IFBB Pro and personal trainer Cassidy McLeod, who's joining me here in the studio. And I want to thank you for joining me. And I'm going to start off and, ask you a little bit about, you as a personal trainer and, IFBB Pro. For people who are not familiar with that kind of lingo or what it means, tell us a little bit about what you do and what it takes to be an IFBB Pro.
All right. Well, Dr. Gil, thank you so much for having me. And my name's Cassidy, and I'll talk a little bit how I got into the whole fitness world and what led me to become a personal trainer and then a professional bodybuilder. So started off playing sports all my life. I played basketball, field hockey, softball in college, and I started kind of lifting end of high school, beginning of college, and I really loved it. And I was, always in the gym. My friends were asking me, how do you lift? Like, can I have a meal plan? You look so good. Like, what do I do for that? So I was just, making them workout programs, meal programs, and it was working and they were doing great. And then I realized, okay, like I could actually do something with this. So I took the personal training course and became certified and started training clients. When I moved to Florida, I didn't know anything about bodybuilding whatsoever. I'm from a very small town in Maine where that's not a thing. And when I moved to Florida, I noticed like everybody in the gym was training for something. It looked like they were training for, I don't know, the guys were so serious about it. The girls were all so serious. And I was like, okay, what is this? And I, did a little bit of research and found out about these bodybuilding shows. And I kind of just knew that there was one category there's more than one category, but at the time I thought there was just one category, which was bikini, and all the girls had to be super skinny, and I didn't want that. So I said, I'm never gonna compete. I don't wanna be super skinny. I wanna have muscle. So did a little bit more digging, realized there's more categories, and I decided that I wanted to do the figure category. So not knowing much about it, I knew about lifestyle fitness and how to do dieting and stuff like that, but not competition prep. So I hired a coach and I did my first show. Went well, I guess, but I wasn't at that level yet. So this was about 6 years ago. Did a show, did really bad the first show just because I didn't do a serious prep, and then competed again the next year with a serious coach and a more strict programming. I ended up winning, and then I said I'm never going to compete again. So that was that. And then 5 years later, or 6 years actually, so that was this year, I decided I wanted to compete again, because you really have to be in the right like mindset. You have to be in, I don't know, it's really difficult. So anyway, decided I was going to do it this year, thought it was the right time, and I ended up doing a show in Florida, winning, going to Vegas for the national show, and I became an IFBB pro. So that's kind of my my journey with competing. And just through the years of competing, it's and experiencing different coaches, different different styles, it's helped me also with my clients, and knowing like what to do and not to do, and helping people on different levels, and
Helping people, like, in what way?
Like helping people, like achieve their goals. So, some people come to you and they are beginners. Obviously, they don't have a lot of workout experience. Or they come and they've already been working out, but they just maybe they want to prep for a show, or maybe they want to just be become better.
What, in your years of being a personal trainer, what kind of impact have you seen it have, like, on your clients? If you could think of, some individually, but overall, like, what impact, have you seen, this kind of training you have done for yourself, and then you kind of impart on your clients? What impact that it's had, say, physically, mentally, in a person's life?
Got you. So, I like to say that I train all of my clients the way that I train myself, which is very hardcore. Not a lot of talking, just like get right to work, So people that come to me, they're more serious. They're more serious clients. They have a goal. They want to achieve that goal. I feel like they always see better results than, like, I don't know. I feel like that's like they always see good results because I'm pushing them the way I would push myself.
Okay. Now, have any of your clients ever said to you that as a result of you, pushing them, motivating them, like, what kind of impact it's had on other areas of their life?
Yeah. So, I don't know how much you guys know about fitness, working out, eating healthy, but all of that, there's so many other benefits than looking a certain way. So, you sleep better, all these benefits of working out. Yes, people, obviously they have more energy. They, you feel better. The look is just a bonus. I always say, like, losing weight, that's always just a bonus of your health actually gets better. And I think that mental health always improves when you work out.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
I would agree. Exercise is
dopamine.
Yeah, exercise is I would say, natural antidepressant, but certainly as part of any, overall treatment to, say, depression. You could take medication and you could do therapy, but there's a part of, a healthy lifestyle, which, you could interpret can mean, diet.
Yep.
But certainly, exercise. To me, besides the, benefit that exercise does as it releases natural endorphins, and then, okay, you look better, you feel better, you act, you think better. But also, whether you go to a personal trainer or go to a gym, go to a Pilates or some other HIIT classes, also it provides structure, and it someone who's, let's say, in a deep throes of a depression, who doesn't have any energy or doesn't want to do anything, to sit home and stare at the walls, going to let's say a 30-minute spin class, may not seem like such a big deal, but it is. It gets them out of the house and gets them to do something, and then they keep doing it. They may be more prone to kind of wanting to keep doing it and get into the pattern that it establishes. So yeah, I agree with you. exercise, whether it's isometric weight training, cardio, or whatever other forms of exercise out there, I think does provide tremendous benefit. Well, how's it helped you?
Oh, I mean, for me, I feel like, well, not even talking about the whole bodybuilding part of it, but just fitness in general, I feel like, because I've gone long periods of time where I don't go to the gym, or I don't eat healthy, or both, and I know the other side of it too. So I know the good side of it, and I know the bad side. And I know that when I'm not doing one or two or both of those things at the same time, you get sluggish, you get very low, for me personally, I get super low energy, I feel very unmotivated. It's just not a good feeling. I like having, something to look forward to in the day where I know that's my time, when I'm gonna go. It's just about, I can focus just on what I'm there for, which is yourself, basically, right? You're there to better yourself, to feel good. And so having that time in the day where you can kind of just let go of whatever else is bothering you maybe, or, just kind of shut your phone off for that hour, however long you're there. It's helped me, like, anytime I'm having a bad day, one of my outlets is go to the gym, because that's just what I know, because I know that will help me to release whatever I have going on, or just not think about that thing for that moment in time. So there's been times when, I've had to spend hours in the gym just because, maybe something was going on and I just wanted to be in the gym because that's like my comfort zone, right? So, but that's not always everybody's comfort zone. Some people hate the gym. Some people hate working out, hate going to Pilates. But I think you learn to like it once you feel good about it.
Okay.
Like once you feel the benefits of it.
Okay. Well, on that note, we will take a small break for a commercial pause, and we will continue our interesting conversation when we return.
What happens when the mind of a healer crosses over into the darkness of the human soul? From authors David Icovetti, Dr. Gil Lichtshein, and Yolanda DeLuca comes a chilling psychological thriller, Dr. Mensch, A Prescription for Evil. This gripping novel follows a respected Boca Raton psychiatrist who secretly descends into madness, transforming into a modern-day king of the underworld. Inspired by true events and Dr. Gil's childhood connection to a mob family, this story blurs the line between sanity and evil, genius and destruction. Unforgettable, disturbing, impossible to put down. Get your copy today on Amazon.com. Dr. Mensch, A Prescription for Evil, a 2020 psychological crime thriller. You're listening to Dr. Mensch with child and adolescent psychiatrist Dr. Gil Lichtshein. For a copy of his powerful new book, Dr. Mensch's Prescription for Evil, visit Amazon.com. For more information or to schedule a consultation, contact Dr. Gil directly at 561-300-4052 or visit docgil.com. Now, let's get back to the show.
Welcome back. This is Dr. Gil Lichtshein, aka Dr. Mensch, and I'm back here with my guest, Cassidy McLeod, an IFBB pro and personal trainer, and we were talking a little bit about her experiences in the fitness industry or fitness business and the impact that training has had on her and on her clients. And I wanted to, bring up, she mentioned about times when she hasn't gone to the gym for days or may not have eaten healthy and kind of gets lackadaisical and then wants to get back because she might not look good. But I wanted to bring up how do you manage or how do you deal with kind of like the other end of the spectrum or the extreme where you have fitness pros and bodybuilders who teeter on what's called body dysmorphia or body dysmorphic disorder, where if they're 1 pound overweight or they're not benching, they're benching 495 instead of 500 or squatting, not that they kind of get rattled or kind of, I don't want to say unhinged, but really affected. How do you deal with that? And then also, the aspects of competitive bodybuilding where there's a lot of structure that might be even to the point of like extreme rigidity with a diet, supplements, and I don't even get into when bodybuilders like misuse steroids, but even just natural supplements, the regimented diet, what they can't eat. So how I can imagine that could, be taxing on one's mental health, while on one hand, exercise is a great stress reliever, natural antidepressant, but when you get into that kind of level where it's like your career or your life, I wish I had 4 hours a day to go to the gym, but I have a full-time job. I don't have that luxury, but if that was my career or where I would earn my my livelihood, could that, again, I don't have that experience firsthand of spending 4 to 5 hours a day in the gym, but I could imagine that you could push it to the extreme where it could then become like overwhelming and really take control. So how do you I'm gonna say stop from letting it happen? What do you do to kind of keep a balance and even, pass it on to your clients to, make sure that, okay, fitness becomes something positive and not, a source of distress or problems?
I love that question. So, bodybuilding in itself, that is like, it becomes your life during that time. So when you're prepping for a show, your whole life is consumed. Like, I'm not going to sit here and lie to you. Your whole life is basically consumed on that prep. Your mind, it's very hard to diet that hard, and also focus on all kinds of other things that you normally would in your life. It's very hard to even have another job. I mean, most people have another job, but it's it's just very hard. When you get close to the show, it's extremely, extremely hard to focus on anybody, anything but yourself, what you're doing. You really only have energy to eat, do your cardio, work out, and sleep and prep your meals for the next day. That's really it. So there's definitely a middle ground when it comes to, having it become an obsession. And, if you're a bodybuilder, it's an obsession, just is what it is. But for the normal person, I feel like there's, because that's the whole thing with getting into like eating disorders and all that stuff when you're talking about body dysmorphia, like all that. So that's a whole nother thing. But there's definitely a middle ground when it comes to that. And I'll say, like, when I'm prepping for a show, I'm totally all in on the show. Like, I'm obsessed with it. I don't really think about much else. But after the show, I kind of just go back into my normal life where, you're kind of supposed to stay on a more strict thing all year round in diet and regimen. But for me, I just see that it works best that after my competition, I kind of just ease back into normal life, things that I would normally do when I'm not prepping. I don't really diet that hard in the off season. I'm luckily blessed enough to not have to. But you gotta live your life. You can't just be so stuck and obsessed with something, because it will turn into, like, for me, if I stay all year long having to eat a very, very strict diet, I'm going to hate the gym. And that's happened to me before, when actually it just happened to me probably, 5 weeks ago. I was still trying to keep up with my off, my post-show regimen. And honestly, I was getting so sick of it. I was like, you know what, like, I'm just going to, something was telling me, something in my body was telling me, just stop working out for a second. Just don't go to the gym. And so I listened to my body, and I was like, you know what, I'm going to start doing Pilates, which I've never done before. And at the time, just coming off of my show, I think I had so much stress in my body, like physical stress, like cortisol levels were extremely high. And the only way that was going to come down was to stop lifting heavy every single day and doing hours of cardio. So knowing that, I kind of just stopped altogether and switched gears into like a lighter like workout, like Pilates. But body dysmorphia, yeah, that's a serious thing. I mean, people deal with body dysmorphia. I think a lot of people deal with that, you know, like we look at ourselves and we think, oh, we're so fat when we're really not, or whatever, or vice versa. But I feel like it can become a real, like really, really like intense thing after post-show, after bodybuilding, because you look some way that you've never looked ever in your life when you're on the stage. And then 2 days after you're on the stage, you don't look like that anymore. And your body changes so fast just from, you can't maintain the stage look forever. I mean, you can't even really maintain it for 2 or 3 days without it's extremely unhealthy. So it's definitely, and that's why there's off seasons to, you know, bodybuilding. You have to take a break. Your body has to recover. So I know that I can't do shows all year long. I can do maybe 1 or 2 shows and be done for the year. And then next year, or maybe even 2 or 3 years later, doesn't have to be every year, you can get back into it. But your body needs to recover. It needs to, you know, reset and balance out, and yeah.
It's kind of like a little, I don't say contradictory or kind of conflicting, where on the one hand, you know, you're, getting into shape and promoting wellness, but that in some ways, at least for the professionals who do this as their career, not for like, you know, the amateurs or the ones who just kind of dabble in it or just want to work out to stay healthy, but the ones who are in it like as their career, as their life, that they want to look good and you know and eat right and be healthy, but that in some ways they kind of take unhealthy routes to like promote wellness. Like again, like you were saying, like, you know, maintaining that look, you know, can be a little unhealthy. So maybe spending too much time in the gym. I alluded to, again, some bodybuilders, you know, using performance enhancing medications, which, in the long run really are unhealthy. I remember, like when, I'm going to say back 15, 20 years ago, when I had a personal trainer, you know, big African-American dude from Jamaica, and he was jacked, and he really pushed me hard in our one-on-ones. But then, you know, he would tell me, I would see him sometimes, like I come to the, you know, gym early and he's out there, he's smoking, or he's telling me about how days he'd be doing, like, you know, blowing lines. And I'm like, dude, you're promoting health, but then you're like doing cocaine and you're smoking. Like, what's that all about? So I can imagine that sometimes that can kind of cross a line, or you have to try to balance of, okay, be it, you know, lead a healthy lifestyle, but that sometimes you kind of, I don't say cut corners, but go through ways and means that might toe the line of, is this really healthy or dangerous or not good for my body? I guess that's something that, you know, professional bodybuilders kind of got to balance.
Yes, for sure. I think that, you know, not talking about the bodybuilding industry, but as a trainer and, you know, promoting wellness and, you know, a healthy lifestyle, I always say, if you're going to talk the talk, you better walk the walk. So it's like, you know, you can't be telling your clients or, you know, suggesting to your clients that you should do something and then they see you doing the complete opposite, because how does that work? You know, it's like they want to look like you, they want to be like you, and then they're going to see you doing that stuff. So I don't know. I think there's a fine line to that when it comes to, you know, for me personally, I just always have to think long term. Is this something that's going to affect my health in the long run? You know, there's so many things like out there these days that everybody always wants the shortcut.
Right.
They don't want to put in the work to it's hard. It's hard work to reach your goals, right? So they want a shortcut. They want, oh, is this going to get me to lose weight in this amount of time? Okay, I'll take it. So they don't think about, okay, is it going to affect my health and later in the year, later in my life? So that's kind of why, and also you have all these coaches, trainers that are not necessarily educated so much to be talking about or reading blood work, talking about, peptides, talking about vitamins, different supplements, all that stuff. They don't really know that. So to prescribe, so to say, to their clients, like they don't even know, without even knowing like their client's blood work, for example. You might be giving them something that's going to be so bad for them and you don't even know. So I just feel like it's best to just educate yourself on whatever you want to take or try or whatever. Just make sure that you're educated on it, I think, for like long-term health risks.
I think
or anything
makes
like that.
I think that makes a whole lot of sense, and I think
Or ask your doctor.
true. But they say no pain, no gain. I mean,
that's true.
with your clients, you put them. Your clients come to you. They don't want to become bodybuilders. They're doing.
Right.
They have their agenda. I have assumed they want to lose weight, get healthy. Maybe their doctor told them, hey, you have high cholesterol, high blood pressure. You need something. Instead of taking Ozempic. I'm not saying you shouldn't, but exercise could do you well on top of, let's say, taking Ozempic or Mounjaro or whatever medication. How could any potential clients out there get a hold of you?
So I have a website. It is pushfitness.org. So pushfitness.org, and then I believe my, just kidding, my phone number is not on there, but pushfitness.org, and my phone number is on the website, not on this little tag here. But yeah.
Okay. Well.
So check it out. I do online coaching, so if you're not in the area, that's a great option. You could either do like Zoom training calls, or sorry.
Okay.
Oh, I can.
Yeah, keep going.
Oh, okay. Or if you're already you're already working out, you already know what to do, I can write you a plan, or one-on-one personal training in person in the South Florida area.
Okay. Well, I want to thank you very much for coming here today and talking a little bit about yourself and what you do. This is Dr. Gil Lichtshein, aka Dr. Mensch, and hope everybody has a good week, and I'll see you again next Monday.
Thank you for joining us for Dr. Mensch with Dr. Gil Lichtshein, helping you navigate the world of mental health with clarity and care. If you or someone you love needs support, you're not alone. Treatment works and recovery is possible. To schedule a consultation or discuss non-medication therapies, personalized treatment plans, or psychiatric care, contact Dr. Gil directly at 561-300-4052 or visit docgil.com. You can catch us each week on South Florida Oldies Radio and streaming across all social platforms. Until next time.